Hey guys, my name's Katie. I'm founder and owner of Veil Street. So excited to kick off today's video, and I want to give you guys a grand welcome to episode 1 of Confessions of a Female Founder, Tell All series where I share my experiences and advice as a 23-year-old entrepreneur. I've been in business since the age of 16. I know. I'm a pretty seasoned business owner with 8 years under my belt, but I still feel like it's a never-ending learning process. And I'm just excited to be here to share all the things that I do and don't know and basically be your guys' business bestie. So today's episode is going to be the key steps that I take in order to ensure that I have a successful drop or successful launch and sell out every single time. I feel like I've done every sort of business tactic, whether it's just buying product, releasing when you have it, and just having items in stock all the time. I've done the whole drop process. Basically, if you don't know what a drop is, and in business or in a clothing brand, you have a date, you have a launch, and it's like be there or you don't get any product. Basically like hyping up a date and a launch. And I've done sort of every single method that there is to exist, and I will say the drop method is the best of the best. And if you can get really good at it, your business is gonna thrive. And so that's what we're gonna be discussing today. I pretty much have a list that I always resort to whenever I'm having a new drop. And like I say all the time, and one of the biggest reasons why I created the series in the first place is that when you're a business owner, there is no one true guidebook. Every person's journey is going to look incredibly different. Like there's no such thing as seeing someone's formula and deciding you're going to copy it and you're just going to have the exact same success. That's pretty much impossible in the world of business. And there's no one telling you every day what there is that you need to do, and you pretty much have to get good at being your own boss, literally. Like if no one's telling you to do it, you have to be the number one person reminding yourself. So I feel like the best way I survive is by having consistent checklists and jotting down what works and what doesn't work for me. And this is my step-by-step guide to a successful drop every single time. So my guide comes in 3 categories. The very first one is just like your general, your overall, which the second phase is Shopify or your host website. Like you may have a GoDaddy website, a Wix website, there's Big Cartel, there's so many host sites. I personally eat, breathe, sleep Shopify. Like if you're a seller and you sell products, there's a ton of websites out there, but if you sell products and like especially physical products, Shopify is your way to go. Shopify is the best. Trust me, I've done it with other sites. My other business, Chemical Cosmetics, I had it using a Wix website, and I'm just gonna say Shopify is a game changer, and it's for sellers, so you should be on there. Let's get back to the video. Third and final step is content. You're gonna hear this a lot throughout this series. Content is king, and I very, very strongly believe that. And if you can get a hang of capturing content and really presenting your business, you're going to be successful. One thing I'll say is, another reason why this checklist is so important for me is because my business as a whole, we don't do ads. We've never done it. We don't do Facebook ads, Instagram ads. We don't do any of that. For the first time I've actually experienced an ad. I recently was asked to attend an event, and like I'm sure you guys saw like the Alibaba Co-Create event, and they asked me to make a video and they asked for access to run ads on my business page. And this is my first time seeing an ad run video, and I'm just like, it's so different because it got like I think over 200,000 views because they were boosting it like crazy, even though I wasn't really posting because my page was inactive. But it just got a ton of views, no comments, no engagement, no actual community. And personally, my brand thrives a lot on community and genuinely connecting with our audience. So this is a step-by-step guide that we follow for incredible success. And I'm gonna be looking at my screen here and there because I have a list here to, so I can read it to you guys. So the general portion, like the phase 1 of this checklist, comes way before there's any announcements or any sort of hint that you're going to be making a release. And I'm gonna make a separate video on this, but timelines are so important. Like timelines are, especially in fashion, like I always say, if you're not 2 seasons ahead, you're already behind. But there's so many other timelines that are so important. And the thing is, you have to keep your audience engaged. So one of the mistakes that I made is like announcing a drop or a pre-order 30 days in advance. By then, videos have already gone viral. People have forgotten within 2 weeks. I'm dropping after another 2 weeks, and they've forgotten about the product. So you have to be really, really specific with your timelines. Everything in phase 1 At this point, people shouldn't even know that you're having a release. Now, this is completely different. Like if you're a business that's just launching, or if you're like dropping behind the scenes processes and like little tidbits here and there, that is okay. But I'm talking about dates and important things that your consumer needs to remember. At this point, none of that matters. This is all just like the behind the scenes work that is happening. Phase 1 includes your collection name, your individual product names. So this would be, for example, my knee-length collection. The collection name was called à la mode, which is basically French for in the mode, in the fashion, etc. And the reason why I had that title was because all of my actual products would have very French names. So the navy blue was called La Nuit, the pink was called Rose, the gray was called Argent, which means silver in French. But also, I was watching Teen Wolf at the time, and I just yeah. Yeah, it depends on the kind of brand that you have, but because these products are going to consistently be releasing in different variants and colorways and styles, it's very important for me to have actual collection names and titles, because you don't want to confuse your customers. And like, for example, our Modesty Princess collection is very in your face. It says it on there, but it has a title. That just has a collection name, but not an individual product name, because there's no different colors. It comes in one color. Phase 1, it can genuinely happen in any order and as early or as late as it needs to occur. Like, this is still part of the whole game planning process. You should already be in production, or you should be prepping for your launch already. And step 3 is models. I feel like I'm always consistently scouting models. I kind of go back and forth. So like, I have a good amount of set models that I love dearly, that slay every single time in the Philadelphia area, that I always just go back to, because I'm like, hey girl, like they're just good at it. And whenever I introduce new models, I love for them to all to get to know one another, because I feel like my photo shoots are a vibe, and that's what I want as a brand. Like, I don't really do in extremely thorough and professional model scouting and just like finding people that are actual models. No, like, and also, if you've noticed, my brand doesn't really heavily rely on or use influencers. The people that are the faces of my brand are people that I just know, some that I grew up with, went to college with, like just people within my community. And I think I find that really important. Like, they are the influencers of my brand. I don't care about your followers. I don't care about anything like that, because I don't rely on people's, like, like, for example, with influencers, you have to rely on their ability to influence. And I feel like that's not what my brand is about. I feel like I kind of see it as lazy work sometimes. Like, not saying that people shouldn't, because massive brands have found incredible success relying on influencers. But me personally, my models are my influencers at this point. Like, I just love having these familiar faces represent my brand, even when there's new faces. And I just don't think numbers or anything like that should really matter. These girls do a great job. They all click with one another. So all of our photo shoots are a vibe. And whenever I do find new people, I know they'll also click, inshallah. So when it comes to model scouting, for me, what it looks like is I have an Instagram folder where I literally collect like models that I have now in one folder already, and then I have like models in different cities that I like I have a folder for New York City models. I just have hijabis saved in my folder, because I'm like, hey, I want to use her one day. I want to use her one day. I want to, you know, not just hijabis, by the way. I do have some non-hijabis, because I do have some future products that won't include the headpiece. And it's just really important to like, you'll hear me say this a lot. It is incredibly important to visualize everything. The fact that I can see them and pick and choose like who I want and what shoot, and who I want to be wearing this product, who I need, etc., it just makes it a lot easier. So model scouting, you should visually have like a list of people that you want to select from. I have people in my folder that I don't even follow. They've never heard from me. I've never heard from them, but I'm like, they would really look good for this photo shoot. And then sometimes I'll take it even a step further. I'll take it off of Instagram. I'll add their pictures to folders, but that's like after we started I keep hitting this. This is getting kind of annoying. That's like after we've already started communicating and, you know, all that extra stuff. But model scouting is really important. Make sure to have folders. It's really important to save inspo board and theme selections. Like I said previously, mood boards, visuals, all that stuff is so important. And the reason why it's so important is because as a creative, like if you're a business owner and you're a creative person, you can have the best vision, you can have the greatest vision. It doesn't matter, you could be a mastermind, a genius, but none of that matters if you're not able to put your vision on paper and depict it to other people. You are never going to be able to properly execute your vision if you don't have the skill to showcase it and get people to also understand where you're coming from. Like, you need to make sure that everyone's on a common ground, everyone knows what you want, because if you don't properly communicate that, you're not going to get what you want and what you need. When I very first started my brand, I actually didn't do any of my photo shoots. I reached out to someone through social media. I saw his work and I loved it. And he just so happened to have some fly sisters. And I was like, yo, y'all are fly. Let me send y'all some hoodies and you take some film pictures. And I'm going to use, I was blessed to have the opportunity. But at the beginning, though people loved it, I had different visions for it. So I started to create slideshows. I feel like I've always been creating slideshows, but this just took it to the next level. Like one of my recent shoots that I had with someone, when I had like the whole Zoom call, because you know we always have like briefings and Zoom meetings before the models even get together, so that they have an idea of like what's coming, you know. And I was just like giving them the whole rundown, showing them the pictures, showing them the picture locations, and she was like, listen, like I recently had this thing with Nike. Was it Nike or Adidas? That's crazy that I don't know. But she recently had this thing with like a big company. She was like, exactly what they did, that's what you're doing right now. Like, you're like a producer. And I was like, I don't even know what a producer does. But listen, I'm just trying to make sure you guys get the vision. I can't just have, I can't just collect a group of people and say, hey, come model for my shoot. And then they just show up and I'm like, okay, do your modeling. No, if you want your vision to come to life, you got to make sure the girls are set. Make sure everyone is equally prepared. There are several moods and themes that go within like the whole process. So my first mood board is usually related to the collection itself or designs itself. I usually have a mood board that I select and create just for the designers that I work with. Once the designer gets it right, I get whatever images, I send it to my manufacturer and they start creating the product. Or sometimes I'll look up like different colorways that I want. You know, that's like the first set of inspo and mood boards. The second set of inspo and mood boards is like, for me personally, like, okay, now that that's all done, I need a Pinterest board of exactly how I want the photo shoot to look, how I want to present the product, like all the details that I want. Then I'll start piecing those things together. And then the third slideshow is like the presentation for the actual models and how we can bring it to life. Then after that, I have slideshow and content breakdown, which I literally was just talking about, but I have two sets. Like all my models will tell you, there's always a slideshow and then there's always a separate note with like the content breakdown. So like I said, slideshow is all visuals. The slideshow, if you're gonna have models, should include, and you must do this, the picture locations. So I'm the kind of brand, it's a streetwear brand, so we're gonna take pictures in the street. Like I've done a studio shoot once and I may continue to in the future, but for the majority of the time, I'm usually doing it in the streets. And I do like both, but like it's a streetwear brand, so I'm gonna be in the streets. So photo shoot scouting, I like to walk around the city and find places that I want the pictures to be taken, and I will take pictures of it, sometimes like the exact angles, and I'll put it in a slideshow, like location 1, location 2, etc., etc. And then with the mood board with pictures from Pinterest, first I'll usually go through like, okay, we're trying to get this vision. I have titles for the vision, like It Girl vibes, or this is this. I have, you know, you got to make it clicky. You got to let the girls understand. Like I remember I once sent a photographer, like, I want bestie vibes. I want this vibes. Like, do not do any, I absolutely hate when people touch the product. Do not prop my product. Do not, no. Like, let the product speak for itself. Like, we're showcasing the lifestyle, not the product. Like, that is the number one thing that I've always hated. And I'll sometimes even show people pictures back of themselves, like, hey, you did this. I don't like that. Keep it natural, keep it cute, keep it simple. You know, I remember my models were making fun of me because I was like, yeah, super natural, keep it natural, keep it natural. And they were like, what is natural? But you know what I mean? So once I give them the whole breakdown, like, we're trying to achieve this vibe, this it girl vibe, I'll then insert in the next slides the pictures of where we're gonna do it and how we're gonna execute it. I also make sure to include like what to wear, what to bring. For me, it's usually super casual. Like, I'm always saying, like, listen, if you wear cargos and sneakers, you're like, that's the vibe. You're gonna be set. Like, what? I always say, like, you know, Chucks, New Balances, Jordans. It's very easy, very simple. Jewelry. And then when it comes to makeup, I like people to be themselves. Like, I don't need everyone getting glammed down, all looking the same. Like, be confident in how you like to present yourself, do just that. Like, I want these girls to show up as they are. I want them to look normal, like regular people. Last but not least, there is the content breakdown. Now, content breakdown is a big deal. Basically, I create an iPhone note with like full details. Usually this includes like the models, the sizes that I'm gonna have them wear, their heights, just that's kind of like for me. But then we have links and names. So I will then organize each model's TikTok content for that day. Like, I'll insert links of the TikToks they're gonna recreate so that ahead of the shoot, they have time to memorize the lines, watch the video, like see how they like it, because that is what my brand, that's how we make our content. Like, we keep it very real. I feel like I've been on social media and I've been on TikTok for years. And since 2019, all I've known to use TikTok as is for jokes. So I sort of just implemented that into my brand. I feel like nowadays that's how people are getting taught. Like, your business should be on TikTok. You should, like, no. I just naturally am a joker. So it's gonna show like that in my content. Content breakdown is a big deal. It has like the location, the time, the sizes you're gonna be wearing, the colors you're gonna be wearing if I make you switch colors, and then a long list of each person's TikTok. So let's say I have Aisha and Amina, you're doing this TikTok. Zahra and Layla, you're doing this TikTok, and then the group TikToks are in this section. But it's just so that people come to the photo shoot with a clear vision in mind, and I promise you it saves so much time, so much confusion, and it's a proper way to ensure that you're gonna get your vision and bring it to life, because this is borrowed time. You need to make sure that you're doing things precisely and that you're getting what you want at the end of the day. So that's all for phase 1. Now we can go on and move on to phase 2, which is Shopify. And again, you can have you can have whatever host website you have. I personally use, love, and prefer Shopify. Phase 2, by this point, you're getting the site ready, you're prepping for the drop, you already started promo. People can know that you're having a drop. And like I said before, 7 to 10 days max is like the perfect time between announcing and having a release. You want to keep people engaged. You don't want to announce it too early and have them forget. And you don't want to announce it like two days before and not give them time to really, it depends. If you got it like that, you can do 2 days before. But you got to keep people attention span, especially in the time that we're in today. Phase 2, Shopify, includes inventory count. This means updating the website with all the numbers and putting in the size variants, putting in the number of products, and most importantly, do not skip the part where you have to add the weight of the product, because the times that I have done this, because again, like when people check out on a product, for me, shipping is calculated by the carrier. Like, we take no money in your shipping. Like, whatever you pay is exactly what we pay to our carriers. And so if you put the wrong weight amount, your customer's gonna pay $4 shipping, you're gonna pay 10. Okay, so make sure you got that. Make sure you just take time to insert everything you got to insert to have a smooth transaction for yourself as the seller and for the buyer. Like I said, upload your images and your weight. You had your photo shoot, you got your film pictures back. I personally love using film pictures in iPhone. You got your pictures, you had your shoots, upload them, include sizes, and like, you want to do whatever you can to just make this a smooth and exciting experience for your consumer. Show them the model's heights, show them the model's sizes. This is very important information, because you want to look at the things that you look at when you're shopping. Even though I already do this, I still feel like there's things that I'm missing that I need to showcase more to my customers. Like, people need to see even more sizing videos. They need to see so much more. But when I'm shopping, I am always going to the description to see what the model size, what the model is wearing. Like, I need to know what size they're wearing. I need to be able to, so make sure to include those details. When you're selling a product and when you're like, you should be checking out your own business's website on the regular. Why? Because when I'm shopping as a consumer to other brands, the things that I naturally look for, I should be able to provide as a business owner. So make sure to include all those details. Again, another step for me is to lock my website and to change the cover image. So it depends what kind of brand you are. I personally usually lock my websites. It builds, it helps anticipation for the drop. Something I might try in the future, you can keep the site open so you can continue selling products that you have in stock, and then just have the product there as coming soon, or something like that, so that people can take more time to look at it, see the price, just see everything, like go, come back, and they could even sign up for email reminders. Enable some sort of countdown. So I like 2 countdowns. I want to have a third, which is a website countdown, which I'm still deciding which apps I like and don't like. But we have the Instagram story countdown that you can set as a reminder, and then we do like the posts with the actual, like, you know, we do Instagram reminders basically, and our posts are also reminders. So just make sure you have some sort of countdown so people know, like, 5 days left, 3 days left. Like, you need to be, once you reach that 7 to 10 day mark period before a drop, the date of your drop needs to be so annoying. Like, it needs to just be everywhere. It needs to be plastered. It needs to be in every bio. It needs to be in every caption and every story. See you guys October 10th, October, like, it needs to become a saying, you know? Every single drop, it just needs to become a thing. Update header and site images. Like, I already said to upload images, but I like to have a brand new header for every drop. Basically just a new image when you open the site, so that the drop is like, bam, like the first thing you see. And then marketing and emails. Market, like, get your email together, get your email template ready to go. 2 types of emails are recommended. So you should have a what's coming this week email, like, again, 7 to 10 days before you drop. And then you should have the actual drop email, like, we're live, we're here. The final thing that I have here is what I just included, which is like the what's to come, drop, informing customers on all platforms, have a price list, answer your customers' questions before they even have a chance to ask. Like, trust me, because you're gonna get the same question 1,001 times still, but you just lighten the load by just answering the questions you know they're gonna ask. And so just, yeah, that's phase 2. Now we can finally move on to the most important phase, which is phase 3 and content. But again, none of these phases are gonna survive without the other. Like, all 3 of these need to happen in order to make sure you have the most successful business drop. And I'm going to repeat this again. The perfect timeline, actually the perfect is 7 days, but 7 to 10 days is when you need to start announcing and flooding platforms about your drop. You need to be annoying. Not 2 weeks, not 3, 7 to 10 days is when you need to be making us tired of seeing you on our For You page. Basically, you need to be everywhere. Sneak peeks and little production shots don't count. You can do that, but when you have a date and you know you're going to be launching, 7 to 10 days is when you need to be doing that. Final phase is content. The number 1 step that I have here is get in front of the screen and talk about your product. Talk to your consumers, talk to your customers. We underestimate the importance of having a face behind a brand. When I first launched my brand, I only had myself to do content, but I still had a hard time claiming my brand, and I hated being the face of my brand. As funny as that may sound, because I am literally 90% of the videos, but I didn't have the guts to sit there and talk about the product as a founder. I wanted to act like I was a creator, like a content creator for the brand, because it just gives like that. I mean, there's 2 sides. People, you know, people have 2 different opinions on it, but it sort of gives that barrier. And I also thought, I'm not cool enough to have a cool brand like this. Like, you know, I feel like my brand got traction so fast that I didn't know how to claim it, which is so dumb. But nowadays, big companies don't matter, because big companies have those levels. They have those barriers of protection. People love a founder more than they love a brand. And like, that's not me trying to sound cocky or anything, but like, people actually care about a brand's values, where it comes from, why it originated, diversity. Like, people actually care about this stuff. Get in front of a screen and talk. Like, your brand needs to be a personality trait, like, at this point. Like, and that's what I'm working on becoming, because it's so important. So the first step that I have here is to get in front of the screen, talk about the collection, talk about the drop, answer questions before they can be asked. Before I start getting into all the fun and cute, and actually talk to people, give them a reason to listen, because we are constantly scrolling through tons of videos and tons of trends. But first things first, you need to like step right in and say, we're having a drop. Here's what to expect. Here's this. Like, just clearly communicate that. It's so important. Step 2 on my checklist, this is not like in order, it's just a checklist. So minimum 21 TikTok posts. I know that sounds crazy. But when you think about it, 7 days, that's like what, 3 TikToks a day? That's light work, because some people actually say 30 TikToks per every drop. And when you think about it, TikTok is a kind of platform where like, you just need to be posting in order to beat the algorithm. And if you do 20 TikTok posts, you knocked out most of this list, because those posts are going to get reposted to every platform. So minimum 21 TikTok posts need to be uploaded. I know this sounds crazy, but y'all, it can be a 7-second video of you just showcasing the product. There's so many variations of content you can make. I promise you, it's easy. The thing is, content gets hard when you dwell on the little things. Like when you focus on little details and you're like, oh, this is not perfect, or this didn't get that many views. Do not get stuck on the views, or no one cares about that. The biggest key to success when it comes to content, especially TikTok, because I will say, I don't do that well on other platforms, but when it comes to TikTok, TikTok is my strong suit. The biggest key and the biggest path to success, or like the number one thing that got me to where I am today, is when you post a TikTok, as soon as you hit that post content, that product, like the same way it leaves your drafts, that content should be out of your brain. You're already on to the next one. The second you hit post, you're on to the next one. You're not sitting here checking it every day. No. Minimum 21 TikTok posts. Post all picture content. Now this is something that I just have here for me because I feel like I get thousands of pictures per photo shoot because I use my iPhone camera and I'm usually just like clicking because I love my pictures to look natural. I like people to look like people. I like them to become their own Pinterest boards. You know, I'm very specific with how my brand is projected. And so a lot of times I have so many pictures. I'm just like going through finding my favorites, and I finally have a drop. And I'll look at my Instagram, I'm like, wait, I have thousands of pictures. I only posted like 10 to 20. Like, post all of your content. So how I, like, what's key to me now is, like, again, utilizing every platform. TikTok, I said 21 posts. Part of those 21 posts, it could just be the images that you already have, and posting a slideshow. Easy peasy. Now I make sure to post every single picture from every single photo shoot on our Pinterest, because no content goes to waste. And people underestimate the power of Pinterest. Pinterest does really well. So yeah, post all of the content that you get. Like, make your, like, flood your feeds. Like detailed images, which usually is something new that I'm pursuing, but it's just like having actual written details on the post. So like the headpiece thing, or something with like size, and just like little writings on the picture. So like it's not just the picture, like there's actual details. Next is story countdown and calendar reminders. I already mentioned this before. This is still part of content. Just make sure, like, every post or every couple of story posts you make, your countdown is there. You want to get as many people as possible to actually click and set the reminder for their Instagram, you know? Minimum 3 Q&A stories. This is a great feature that Instagram has, and I actually use it a lot, and it's so important. And one thing to say is, like, even if people are asking the same question 20,000 times, the biggest piece of advice that I've ever learned, whenever someone asks you a question, just any area in life, I didn't learn this in business. Even if someone asks you the same question for the 10th time that day, you need to answer with just as much enthusiasm and happy to help mentality as possible, because it's their first time asking. Like, it really doesn't matter. So yeah, you need to post at least 3 question and answer stories, because even though I said you need to answer all of your consumer questions before they ask, there's still questions they're going to ask that you didn't think of. So give them that chance before the drop to engage as much as possible and say, okay, well, how about this? Can I see this? And plus, it's free game. They're giving you more content to post. Like, the more your consumers comment and leave questions, it's more stuff to post. Part of those 21 TikTok posts can also be a response to questions in your comments. Like, the 21 is doable. If anything, I should be telling y'all 30. So on the checklist is at least 2 to 3 process videos. So a lot of this is just like telling me like what I should do, but 2 to 3 process videos for me are videos like, I wanted hoodies. I wanted a practical hoodies for hijabis. So here's what I made. So for me, it looks like when I have those videos of me sketching the product, like when I first created it, or just the production process, like the process, like people need to see the process. And I find that's really important, because it just helps them to really see the value in your brand, like what goes into it. Because one of the number one questions I'm always getting asked, or people are always commenting about, are the price and this and that. And you know, for me, what I've learned is that if you have to explain your price to customers, you've already lost them. So I kind of like, I'm like, it's just not my job to justify the price that I charge for my product, because I know it's a great product. I know that it's, anyways. So just showcasing the process really engages the consumer and lets them see like how we got here today. People love a story more than they love an end goal. Like, people love the underdog. People love seeing someone's journey. Monet McMichael, we don't love her because she has millions of followers. We don't love her because she made 4 million in a year. We love her because we watched her from day one. We watched her grow. People love a journey. People love a journey, so bring them along with it. So yeah, at least 2 to 3 process videos are required. And then again, upload all content to Pinterest. All of your TikToks, all of it, just drop it on Pinterest and go. People sleep and underestimate the power of Pinterest. When it comes to Pinterest, literally it's the easiest thing ever. Just take 1 hour a day, go through your camera roll, upload every single picture, and you can clear it out your phone. Well, I don't, because the quality changes when I try to download the image. But upload every single picture, and while you're uploading it, literally just copy and paste either the website link, or I like to use I like to mix it up. I like to use our Instagram link as well, so that every time someone's going through Pinterest, you come up and they just click on it and boom, people have found you. Also, how do you expect to become, not like famous, but like, how do you expect eyes to get on your brand if you're not putting it everywhere yourself? It's not up to the community and the world to see you. It's up to you to make them see you. And one thing I've always said is that the people that are like the famous influencers or the stars we see today aren't famous because they're special, aren't famous because they're prettier than you, aren't famous because of any of that. It's simply because they showed up and they're actually consistent. It's simply because we've seen their faces on our For You page like 200 times. I've seen Monet like 25,000 times already on my For You page, but I wouldn't have seen her if she wasn't posting, if she wasn't everywhere. You have to show up for people to see you. So Pinterest is a game changer. Don't sleep on it. Post, 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 post. Film edit, it depends on if you know, but me personally, I like to use my vintage camera recorder and I like to use my film camera. And so that's just like a reminder for me to like go through, edit a video or whatever I need to do, and then you know, upload. But I don't really edit like our models or anything like that. We keep it real over here, okay? And again, this is another final step that I have, but I keep repeating, but utilize all platforms. And that also means YouTube Shorts, TikTok, Instagram Reels, Pinterest, and email marketing. Surprisingly enough, as much as we have like a huge following on TikTok, I think a lot of our sales actually come from Instagram. And people from Instagram actually buy. It's like Instagram Reels should not get slept on. You need to be posting on Reels. That is how you grow on Instagram. Reels are the key to actually getting a following and views and sales, because you know Instagram is pushing it out, so use it. And YouTube Shorts, don't sleep on it. We don't really post stuff on our actual YouTube channel. All we're posting is shorts. But if we actually start building that community now, the day we actually start utilizing the Veil Street YouTube channel, we'll have a community. And why not? You already have the content. You already created it for TikTok. So why not recycle it to every other platform? Also, Pinterest, I think, is it called Pinterest Shorts as well, or what? I forgot what it's called. Like, they all have their own name. YouTube Shorts, IG Reels. Pinterest has its own thing as well. Those videos do really well. So just utilize every single platform. It's so important. And the final step that I have here is to unlock your site and sell out. I know that this probably was a lot of information or probably a lot of stuff. I hope you actually jotted it down. I might have like a little screenshot on the screen here of what my list looks like, but obviously in this video I went into much more detail, and actually like when I look at this checklist, I know what I mean, but now you guys know what I mean. And again, the number one things that you should have on your mind every single time you're having a drop, or your top 3 priorities, should always be customer awareness and clarity. Customers, make sure your customers are present. Gather them, make sure they know what's happening. Just keep them as a top priority. Your Q&A stories, answer them, be there for them. The videos where you're chatting and telling them what's happening, show up, be a face, and talk to your customers. Awareness, you need to be everywhere. You need to be sickening, tiring. You need to be posting like crazy. And if you have a hard time with that, I have a video about building your confidence as a business owner coming out as well. And third, clarity. You're doing all this for your customer, you're spreading awareness. Make sure the information is concise, clear, and cut through. The less confusion, the easier the checkout. That is all for today's video. I genuinely hope you guys enjoyed it and actually found this information really helpful. If you are a business owner yourself, or potentially planning on pursuing business, Be sure to leave a comment below. Tell me what you found helpful today. Tell me what you want to see from me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I'm so glad I got to be your business bestie for the day, and I hope to see you guys in my next one. Bye.